In today's highly competitive and volatile business landscape, with ever-evolving customer, client, and consumer demands, the need for effective business strategies is critical to ensure you reach whatever your business objectives are. But why does implementing those strategies so often require changes within the organization? Well, I've got some insights on this one, and I'm going to share them with you right now. Implementing new strategic focus so often requires changes in your organization. But why? And what might those changes be? Well, by the end of this video, you're not only going to have the answers to those questions, but you'll also gain awareness of one of my real-life client examples where we were implementing a new strategy that required significant changes throughout the organization. Let me start by saying that so often strategy is top-down. Leaders need to understand what needs to change in order for the business to become more effective. Leaders must often ask themselves what needs to be true in order to bring a new strategy to life, a strategy that's been communicated down from senior level leadership. And this is where the necessary changes within the organization are dimensioned. Often what needs to be true in order to bring a new strategy to life doesn't currently exist in the organization as it is today. There are three enablers of a given business strategy that often needs to change, either in small or big ways, in order to really bring that strategy to life. So now let's take some time to walk through these three enablers. But I want to bring this to life using an example from one of our clients at Change Enthusiasm Global. One of the industries that we serve is the auto industry, because it's going through tremendous transformation as it works to move to EV over the coming years and decades. In particular, a client that we're working with are in the early stages of a multi-billion-dollar investment strategy in their move to EV. So let's dive into three strategy enablers that they're working to change as they implement this strategy. The first strategy enabler is organizational structure. Now, this client in particular is actually going through a tremendous organizational restructure to ensure that they have the resources and the expertise laser focused on creating that EV innovation and delivering that to market. They're also using the restructure to ensure clear accountability for the delivery of not only petroleum-fueled vehicles, which they'll maintain, but also EV. When a new strategy is introduced like this, sometimes the organization as is not structured in a way to actually deliver upon it. So if you were to think about this particular client maintaining their current organization, which is really focused R&D and innovation on petroleum-fueled vehicles, and now they're trying to implement EV, well, who are the individuals that are actually going to do that? Do they have the right skill set? Do they have the right expertise to actually bring that to life? Who are they going to report to? Who should they report to? Who are we going to be holding accountable for actually delivering this innovation? Should it be the same people who are also required to deliver the petroleum-fueled vehicle innovation portfolio? All these questions are stirred when they're looking to implement that strategy. And as I said before, they're actually implementing changes in the organization, streamlining it, structuring it in a way so they can not only deliver their petroleum-fueled innovation portfolio, but also have the systems, the structure, the capability, the expertise to deliver an EV as well. The second strategy enabler is your culture or your people. This change in strategy, moving from all petroleum-fueled vehicles to now embarking upon EV, creating a significant amount of their portfolio to be EV in the decades to come, required a culture shift within the organization. Why? Because that organization and its culture had been tuned to delivering petroleum-fueled vehicle innovation. That had certain delivery timelines, certain innovation timelines within the pipeline. Well, with the introduction of EV, that completely changed. And with the sense of urgency to remain competitive in market, that innovation had to be accelerated. And so the organization had to become more agile, and the mindset and the behavior of the people had to change. And as you can probably imagine, this is one of the more difficult changes that often needs to happen in order to bring a strategy to life. When you think about changing mindset and behavior or beliefs, That takes a lot of energy, effort, and consistency. But it was a critical change that was required in order to bring the strategy to life in a sustainable way. By the way, you getting value from this? Actually, comment below or click to subscribe, but I'm interested to hear if you've recently had to implement a new business strategy and if there were changes that you had to make in order to make that strategy a reality. Comment below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's get back into it. The third and final strategy enabler is technology or systems. For this client in particular, they actually had to innovate their systems and their technology, not only within R&D and innovation, but also in the consumer-facing portion of the business as well. They were asking their retail stores or their dealerships to have the infrastructure, to have the technology to actually house, deliver EV technology. And that looks very different from petroleum-fueled cars. It actually required every single dealership to increase their investment on a yearly basis, new recurring costs to make sure they could maintain EV inventory on their lots. Now, as you can imagine, this change created a lot of pushback from the dealerships because that was millions of dollars of recurring costs in order to be able to maintain that EV inventory. But it was a change that was necessary to make that strategy a reality, to actually bring and deliver EV technology to the end user, to the end consumer. So did you get value from that? I certainly hope that you did, because I've got something else for you and it's for free. I actually want to gift you a recording of a keynote message that I delivered to an organization going through tremendous change, both internally as well as external market disruption. And it's the portion of the keynote where I'm sharing insights from our latest research at Change Enthusiasm Global, understanding what drives resistance, what are effective strategies to re-engage employees that are feeling resistant to change, and ultimately how to lead, inspire, and nurture growth through those around you when going through change or disruption. All you gotta do is click on the link below. I wanna make sure you have the data, the research, and the insights to successfully fuel your growth through even your most difficult change challenges. I'm Cassandra Worthy, and until we meet again, keep growing and keep rocking.